church that you need something, and they're willing to step up and give you whatever time they have or any asset that they can bring to it, that they do.
It was the revival of tremendous and deep interest in the old tradition, and it gave it a fresh start, a new beginning, and it still is very vital.
There were many, many wonderful people that got involved. There was a multitude of friends that just still had that passion, okay, for Amadon. About 19, 20 years ago, Father Potts came to our church after our beloved Father Romagna retired, and he must have spoken to a little girl that does a tremendous amount of work for us. Her name was Anna Marie Dukusky. And the one day she came to my office. This was in 1987. And my bookkeeper let her in, and she says, Joe, well, she says, Boo-Boo, that's my nickname, but she said, Joe, she said, let's start the festival again. And I looked at her, and I didn't even know her. I didn't know her by Anna Marie Dukusky. I knew her by Anna Marie Siccioni. And that's how it started. And I made a comment, a facetious comment, that the only way that I would become involved is if I had to be the boss, okay? She said, fine, and it started. The first year, we were in a raw, vacant lot, which we had which we used years ago, and that's where we started. We had no kitchen. We had a bunch of planks, we used, and we just started from there. The next year we did a little work, the next year, and in the last 19 years, anybody that goes to the festival can see what we've accomplished. And not to repeat myself, it was the passion of a lot of people that got us where we were. We never in our wildest dreams thought that this feast would go over the way it did. We knew the feast would always be there, the procession, but not the festival. And there's so many people to thank. One is, when food was introduced, was my brother-in-law, God rest his soul, Armand Bruni. He started to cook and he never stopped until the day he died. And then a man by the name of Ciro Pepoli from Italy took over. It seemed that this feast and us getting ready for it, it just put a new vitality into all of us. And the man I must thank for instilling all of this, what could I say? Instilling all this pride in our church and in Armado Little Carm was Father Potts. He made us do things that is unbelievable. I would give him a lot of the credit for instilling this new, vitality in us. Before I go any further, let me mention one more guy, because he does practically more work than anybody, is Lefty Avenoso. He never gets credit. They don't even put his name in the paper. Of course, he's not looking for it. And of course, our big guy over there, Father Tony, when he first started coming back, he brought things up in his homilies that
Way back,
it could make you cry.
in the early part
Believe
of
me.
the century,
About the old people down the flats and in the alley, and
working hard in this territory.
it was just a wonderful thing that happened to us. It was a great thing that happened to us. Now, I wanted to retire. I retired this year because I wasn't feeling too good. They didn't let me retire, which I'm glad, because now I'm feeling better and I got the passion again. All right, so it was just a wonderful bunch of people.
We serve only Italian food at this festival every year. We serve spaghetti and meatballs. We serve meatball hoagies, sausage hoagies, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, French fries. We also serve homemade soup, which is pasta fagioli, and we serve wedding soup. Everything is homemade, especially the soup. The workers start a good week before, and they make meatballs. We actually have 2 meatball parties where they make thousands of meatballs at each party. The first one, the ladies all get together from our church, and they make about 5,000 meatballs. The second party, which is held the Monday before the feast, We make about 5,000 little tiny meatballs for the wedding soup. We also have a specialty called porchetta sandwiches. I am very proud to say that my father, 19 years ago, began making it. It was his specialty. What he did was get 4 pork roasts every night, and he would bake them very slowly and serve them in a sandwich. He had passed away last year, but the tradition continues, and the other workers have continued on making the porchetta sandwiches. We all have a good time back here. It gets pretty hot, it gets pretty long. We're on our feet the whole time. Ciro Papoli is the head of our kitchen department. He takes care of preparing all the food. As you can tell, the people come up and they're hungry, and we're ready here to help them out, and hopefully they'll enjoy every meal that they get from us.
This is the Matino home. Every year we have traditional foods. Caponato is #1 on the list. Easter pizza, supersati, all kind of Italian cheeses. Everybody's welcomed in my house.
Another aspect that isn't totally religious, but is related to it, and that is food. The part of the tradition is after the procession is that every family would have a huge meal. It's kind of like our Thanksgiving meal. You know, it's not turkey, but it will be lasagna and meatballs and sausage and braciole and all kinds of good foods. And the idea for Italian people particularly, who were very poor by and large when they came here, the immigrants, and they were deprived of many of the good things that they would like to have. But on the feast day, everything that they were deprived of, they would have. They would really splurge and spend a whole lot. And it is an acknowledgement that all the blessings that we have are blessings that do ultimately come to us from God, that the Blessed Mother plays a very important part in that, and celebrating together, and we celebrate family. The greatest gift that we're all given to one another is the gift of one another in family, and we sit down and have that meal together, and that meal is almost sacred to us.
I love to come back to Shenandoah every year because it has a lot of good memories. When we were growing up, we always walked in the procession. We went up to the bazaar. We had the whole family got together. It was just a good time, and we kept on doing it all these years.
It's an opportunity to connect once again with my pretty large family. It's a large extended family. We get along well, we enjoy each other's company, and it's just another golden opportunity to kind of bring it all together and relive the youth, talk about the future, talk about family.
Through the generations, this tradition has been passed down. It's an ancient tradition carried over from the old country, and I'm proud to be a member, and I'm proud to be the mayor of this community.
We've always been affiliated with Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church, and it will always be something special. We will return as long as we can.
Once a year when they come back, they're put in touch with that wonderful tradition again, and they recognize its value. And it's a very heartwarming thing to see the young people of the latest generation being so enthusiastic about this ancient tradition. I thought once, and I included in one of my homilies one year, that the interesting thing is that the salmon travels thousands of miles from the ocean back up through the river through which it entered the ocean, back up to the very spot of the river where it was born in order to nest and bring new offspring into the world. That is an instinct given to the salmon by God, but we have an instinct very much akin to that we come back every year to the place where it all began for us, because there is something maybe that we were not able to take with us, or at least isn't where we are, but we know it's here. And we come back and it renews us and it re-strengthens us and gives us the opportunity to recommit then we can go back into that world that is so very different, knowing that those values of those wonderful people are still a very, very precious heritage, and we have to keep it alive and continue to hold on to it. We really have the feeling, the conviction that Our Lady, as our patroness, takes very special care of us, and that many of the blessings we've received in the course of the year, they do come to us through her. And as they do come to us through her, it's really incumbent upon us to express our gratitude, to say thank you. So a very important part of the religious aspect of the feast is an opportunity to say thank you to Our Lady. We made it through another year, and we recognize that in large measure it was because of you and you looking out for us that we made it through this year. And they would say, by the way, there's another year coming, and we wouldn't mind if you continue to look out for us. That's the idea. And I always try to include in my homily some reference to the original parishioners, to the people who were the kind of senior citizens of our parish when we were youngsters, the people who brought the tradition of Italy from Italy and passed it on to us. And I think the festival that we celebrate every year is a wonderful vehicle for holding on to that, keeping it alive, and transmitting it to the new generations as they come along. Inginocchiamoci, let us kneel and pray. O Maria Immacolata, Madonna del Carmine, oggi noi ti ringraziamo per tutte le grazie che ci hai portato per mezzo della tua intercessione durante quest'anno passato. Noi ti onoriamo, Maria, Madre carissima, come hanno fatto i nostri antenati in questa chiesa dedicata al tuo onore. Con confidenza ti chiediamo che ci conservi salvi da tutto che possa farci male, che ne porti il conforto ai dolenti, la salute agli ammalati e la forza ai deboli. Regina della pace, dà la pace del tuo Figlio alle nostre famiglie, alla nostra cara America e alla Chiesa Santa Cattolica. Preghiamo per Cristo nostro Signore, così sia. Mary Immaculate. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, we thank you this day for all the graces and blessings that you have brought to us. Through your intercession in the course of this past year, we continue to honor you, dearest Mother Mary, as did our ancestors in this church dedicated to your honor and so dear to all of us. We confidently ask of you that you will keep us safe from all that might harm us, that you will bring comfort to the sorrowing, healing to the sick, strength to those who grow weary. Queen of Peace, bring the assurance of your Son's peace to our families, to our dear country, to the Holy Catholic Church. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
I find this not only interesting, but I find it very educational, very informative, and I can't help thinking, who says that the older brother can't learn from the younger brother?
I'm glad we have that on tape and before witnesses.